Greetings, salutations everyone. Welcome back. We are not playing something right now. I am playing Peak with my old... Nice. This is a stream I'm excited for. This is how we are celebrating the New Year, which tomorrow's New Year's Eve, right? Not today, but I wasn't actually. Yeah, at no point was I actually planning on doing this stream on a New Year's Eve. I want to leave it open in case people have better things to do than to listen to me. So we have some games to talk about today. And, every year we tier list every single game based on 3 criteria. We have 3 categories we're tier listing them based on. It's for example, if a game was A tier in 2 categories and B tier in another, I might put it in a B tier or A tier, but I'm not doing 3 separate tier lists. Instead, we're doing 1 tier list where we're rating the games on 3 categories, and from where we rate them is how we decide where to place them in this tier list. Nice, Shadow. Oh no. Tiny desk. We have 27 games to rate this year, and if you count the number of games right here, that's not 27, that's 28. One of them's a duplicate, but there's a reason for that. We'll get to it when we get to it. You can see it right over there. We will also have a little... I was going back and forth whether we do it, but we will. We'll also talk a little bit about some New Year's stuff and stuff going on next year after the tier list. So it's actually not just tier lists on the stream, but mostly tier lists. Oh no, that sounds terrible, Tiny Desk. Barnaby Frisbee has died. I might need to try that game sometime. And I actually have the perfect game for us to start with. Should we actually... Maybe we put this in text. Where's the text thing? If we do... let's do a little text at the bottom of the screen for this, because next year I want to get less sleep. No, Shadow, get more sleep, please. As an insomniac myself, please, more sleep. Let's switch. Actually, I'm going to switch to lo-fi music for this. Okay, so the 3 categories that we rate games for are 1, enjoyability. 2, affordability, and 1 that's kind of unique to the position the channel is in. No, actually, I'm worried about lo-fi putting me to sleep. I can't do lo-fi music, sorry. No. Affordability and word that I made up for this, and I've used it for years, streamability. You know what would be nice? Let's do a nice... There we go. Wait, let's just put this at the bottom of the scene. How about that? Maybe something like that, whatever. Yeah. Maybe I should have thought of that before the stream. But yeah, that's what we're rating games on. So, as a demonstration, you know, I would love to get more sleep in the new year, actually, myself. As a demonstration, we're actually going to rate one of my favorite games. One of my all-time favorite games. Where is it in the list? I know it's here somewhere. Here it is. It's not been rated necessarily well, let's see. Okay, so Divinity Original Sin 2 is one of my all-time favorite games. I played it starting like 3 days after it released, and I've played many playthroughs of the game before. It's a fantastic fantasy RPG that can be rather dark at times, and that's the game that came out just before. Well, not just before. It's the game that Lyrian made before their hit game Baldur's Gate 3. I rate it incredibly for enjoyability. What about affordability? It goes on pretty good sales oftentimes, so I'm actually rating it highly for that. Here is the one thing: I am bumping it down a tier for streamability because I think it's not a very entertaining game to watch. We've done a number of streams of it this year, and thank you to anyone who does show up. I'm pleasantly surprised anytime anyone watches any of Divinity. I would not have ever streamed Divinity had my streaming friends not said, "Hey, let's stream some Divinity." I would never have streamed it because I don't think it's a very good game to stream. So this is my, in some ways, my example of us tier listing a game here, because that's one of my all-time favorite games. None of these other games do I personally like as much as it, but I will be harsh if necessary, and it is necessary for me to point out it's not a good game to stream. It's not really. It doesn't have much to watch in some ways, because it's not that interesting to watch. And I say that as someone who discovered the game through a streamer. What one do we do next? What game do we rate next? Let's rate one. Oh, there's so many good games to rate. Some of these I might have to look up a piece of information or something, like the pricing for some of the. We're going to go with an easy one. So this game right here, if you're unfamiliar with it, it's named Mimic Logic. It's a fantastic little pixely graphic game with mimics. You have to solve the riddles of the mimics quick enough that you don't starve, and then kill the dungeon buffs and not die. If you're unaware what the text on the thumbnail says from my past stream, that says previous game of the year. So Mimic Logic was my personal game of the year last year. It is cheap. Mimic Logic is... Let's see, how expensive is Mimic Logic? Mimic Logic is $4 and it's currently 30% off to $2.79. It is affordable. I think it has incredible gameplay. Amazing gameplay. And I don't have anything against any aspect of how it's streamed. I think it is an amazing game. That said, the stream we did this year crashed when I streamed it, but that's for unrelated reasons. Just so you know. Started Death Note last night. Out of my little comfort zone of anime return. I actually really like Death Note. I've seen Spy X Family. I have not seen MHA, but Death Note is definitely my favorite of those. Though it's also very different in tone from both of those, at least I think. I haven't seen MHA though, maybe it's similar, I could be wrong. What game do we do next? I think... Let's do a game I rate poorly. We've rated 2 games I love. Let's do one... I mean, spoilers for the game. Life is Strange is a fantastic game. Life is Strange is an amazing game. If you don't know anything about it, it does cover some very mature topics in the game and the game series. At $40, but it seems to be currently discounted down to, $11.99. It's got a good story. Gameplay wise, I would say it's nothing groundbreaking. At least that I remember. No, it's good. It's just good all around. Do you like Al? Al is one of my favorite characters. Yeah. If not, maybe my favorite, but I'd have to think about all the character. Al is either favorite or maybe second favorite. I don't need to think about the character. Here's the thing about Life is Strange though. It's somewhere A tier or S tier if we ain't taking into account streamability for games. And unfortunately for it, we are taking into account streamability for games. I have never streamed anything with so much copyrighted music and restrictions placed on the game. That loses it at least one tier. Your thumbnail makes you look angry. Yes. I spent 2 hours on my thumbnail today actually. I had most of my thumbnails I made me just looking happy, but then I'm these just aren't good enough. Then I tried one with me looking angry and I'm that looks better. It just worked better. So there's an insane number of copyright strikes that my not strikes, copyright, there's a different word for it. Lots of copyright issues with Life is Strange. On top of that, we were playing the remaster of Life is Strange. The other Life is Strange games some of them have an option to disable copyright music, but for some reason, in the remaster of Life is Strange, they didn't even do that. This is one of the most frustrating I am rating Life is Strange in the C tier just for copyright stuff. If you're playing the game off stream and stuff, good game. If not, if you're playing it on a live stream, just don't do that. Bad idea. And I actually really wanted to play more of those games. We didn't even finish the game because of this. I didn't finish the game off stream. Like incredibly annoying. Today's Tuesday. Yeah, today's Tuesday. Let's talk about something more fun. Shadow, you're playing Genshin Impact. Let's rate Genshin Impact. Or at least I think you said you were. Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact is a fun game. It is fun to explore the world and get the characters. They have really interesting characters, and I love a lot of the gameplay. The story as well. I will say I do have some certain gripes with certain things they game design choices they make that they've actually even fixed with their other games, made better with their other games, but still haven't fixed with Genshin Impact. But I don't think it's enough to lower it a tier just for those. But oh, maybe it is. Okay, but I'm going to... no. I think we're going to rate it B, A tier. I'm torn between A and B. I love Genshin Impact, but it does have a number of flaws. The main reason I want to knock it down a minimum of 1 tier is because it is a little... It is free! Technically free, asterisk. I wouldn't say it's nearly as good if you play it just for free, and as such it's kind of a paid game, and they're also kind of good at getting some people to pay more than they should for the game. So we are docking at points on affordability. I'm only trying to decide if I want to dock it points on quality of life, which is not a category we're rating games for. So I don't think we actually care in this case that it has some quality. Do we care? I care. And it's my tier list. I love the game and will be playing it more next year, but it's getting ranked in the B tier. So quality of life issues in the game and affordability issues. Because I know some people who have paid too much for the game. What do we rank next? We have 27, 28 games to get through. Hmm. I mean, I played Genshin Impact just a little bit ago, earlier today. But I really want to be, like, try to be as fair with these games as possible. And not just rate them purely based on my opinion of the games. Like, if this was purely based on my opinion, Divinity Original Sin 2 would be in the last year. Yeah. But we're trying to rate them based on some multiple factors. Okay. Where do we go next with these games? Where do we go? Let's rate something fun. What's a fun game? What's a fun game? What's a fun one? Civilization 7. We did a couple of streams of Civilization 7 at the start of this year. You know what some of these games are. Adam, you know some of these. I'm sure you do. Yeah, I mean, some of these you played with me. At least 3 of these you played with me. Rating a Civilization 7. And enjoyability, affordability, streamability. I might know all of them, but you know, you using your thumbnails then makes it unrecognizable. Yes, but honestly, part of the reason I use my thumbnails for is because it's the easiest way for me to quickly get pictures about each game instead of trying to find. I'm trying to like Google okay, where's a high resolution image for Don't Starve Together? That one too blurry. That one, and then instead I know the resolution of all my thumbnails, and I have a thumbnail for each game I play. So it's that's the reason. It's just because I have them easily accessible. Civilization 7. I mean, Adam, we rated Divinity Original Sin 2 in the A tier. It's fantastic. Let's say there's no game on this list that I rate as one of higher in my list of favorite games than Divinity Original Sin 2. Why, yay! Because it gets points for enjoyability and affordability, but loses points in streamability. Yeah, it definitely loses points in streamability. Right, Civilization 7 is a fun game. I'm going to say I don't think Civilization 7 is as good as 6. Maybe. I think it's not. I might not. Nah, it's very streamable. I think some of these games here, I know at least a couple of these games I've gotten more views on a single stream of than all of my Divinity streams from this year combined. Yeah. I've also heard other streamers say that and I completely outside of our group of streamers say that they've gotten far less views and stuff on Divinity than other games. Also, it crashed a number of times through our playthrough of it while I was streaming, but it would stop crashing when I stopped streaming it. I've since mostly fixed the issue, but Civilization 7 has the issue. I don't know if anyone here has played a similar game. There's a similar game to Civilization 7 called Humankind. Actually, I can pull it up on Steam. I've played Humankind. I don't think I've ever streamed Humankind, because Humankind has the same issue as Civilization 7. In that it lacks an amount of replayability because of a really cool system that both games have, that in theory makes more sense than not having the system, but it takes away replayability. Both games have it so that you can evolve your civilization or your empire, what have you, as the game goes into a different civilization for each age, and I think it makes a lot of sense and is really cool, but it takes away from replayability. I'm not the first one to say this about either game. There have been lots of people who have said this before. It's got issues. Both games, Humankind and Civilization 7. I really like Civilization 7, but it has some issues. I'm going to put it in, C tier maybe? Because Civilization 7 has some rotten monetization too. They're doing a thing where you have to like buy the different empires and stuff and leaders individually. I mean, they've previously done like packs, but like you go to the Steam workshop for this game, not workshop, Steam store for Civilization 7. Content for this game, browse all 30. Like, what is this? I've played more of this game off stream and since playing it on stream, and there was someone I really wanted to play. Maybe it was Xerxes and Carthage. It sounded really cool, but I'm like, I don't want to buy these individually. Like, if you were to buy all of them, so I think I need to put bracket points. I think Civilization 7 is a C tier game. I'm probably playing it more in the future, but I cannot actually recommend it that much. They need to fix some of that. I cannot think of what the tablet of Tona is off the top of my head, Shadow. But, sounds good. And nicely done there. It's probably something I haven't actually maxed out. Let's talk about something I like talking about. Phasmophobia. I love the game of Phasmophobia. You've probably noticed if you've been around that I like Phasmophobia. It's one of the games we've streamed the most consistently since the start of the channel. We've probably streamed it less this year than any other year though, but we have streamed Phasmophobia most consistently over the course of the channel. I love the game. To me, it is a puzzle game with a new puzzle every single game. Figuring out how to do a new ghost every time. The weird thing though, one of the weird things though to me, now, one of the things I'm a little concerned about is I try to keep up with the devlogs for Phasmophobia, and they say they're working on like a horror rework, and it sounds like maybe more jump scares, more stuff that makes it more scary, and I don't know if I like the sound of that. I'm a bit of a scaredy cat, and I'm a little worried about what will happen if they do, more horror to Phasmophobia. I think I like it where it is, horror. I wouldn't take away horror from how horrifying it is now, but I don't really want them to add more, if I'm honest. But, how expensive is Phasmo? This is relevant. It is cheap. $20, currently 30% discounted to $14. It's boring fast because it's the same thing over and over. I think I disagree. There are something 20 is it like 26 or 27 different ghosts, and they each have different abilities and stuff, and you can play all of those on a bunch of different maps. Oh, and reworking one of the maps, I saw a rework looked really cool, and you can what's it? The difficulties are pretty good. Oh, thanks for letting me know, Shadow. I wasn't sure. Yeah, no. Also, it is scary to me. I just said I'm a scaredy cat. Though it's not usually scary, but it has its moments where it's scary to me. Oftentimes I treat it more like a puzzle game, but it is scary once in a while to me, and I am worried if they make it more scary. I see no reason in not to rate it in the S tier of games. It's also one of my favorite games to stream with other people, because it's fun doing it over Prax chat, which we haven't had working lately. That's been one of the most frustrating things. I actually think the game is a lot worse without proximity chat. It's significantly hurt without proximity chat working. Sadly. Let's rate some. Actually, here's one. We're rating Warframe. I can just putting it in a B while we talk about it, then we'll move it to its actual category. Warframe is a fantastic game. If we go to Warframe on Steam, Warframe, very expensive game at $0. It's very expensive at $0, free to play. Well, you have to be a ninja to play it, but ninjas play free. Okay, it's free to play. I love Warframe and have played. I have 3,000. Actually, do this. 3,442.9 hours of it on Steam. I like the game. One of the things I actually like about the game is, although it can be grindy, it is one of the most fun grinds out of games I know. Like, what's a grindy game that I don't like the grind of? What's a grindy game that I don't like the grind of? Actually, there's one we're going to talk about later in this. $0 is so expensive, I might have to sell my entire soul to a morally grey business for the rest of my life to afford. Exactly. Very expensive. There are some grindy games that I'm like, this is such a boring grind. And I am not thinking of one off the top of my head right now. But I know they're out there. I'm trying to scroll through my games, and it's a grindy game, is it? Actually, I don't like some of the grind in Genshin Impact. That's a decent example. It's not that grindy of a game, though, but there are games more grindy than it that I dislike the grind of them. Oh, but like some of the grinding in Genshin Impact, I'm not a fan of so much. But I'm just going to admit it. We're putting Warframe in S tier. Part of me has been tempted to lower it 1.1 tier for streamability, but I think it might be more my fault. Sometimes I think I'm not very good at streaming Warframe myself. No, yeah, Adam, as I said, my fault, because I think sometimes I'm not very good at. No, yeah, okay. Warframe, let's put it like that. Warframe is one of the most streamable games. I'm not good at utilizing it for streaming. I think sometimes I'm just not the best at streaming it. I don't know exactly what to say I'm bad at streaming it about, but we're going to leave it in S tier. Sometimes I'm just... how to describe it? I don't know. Sometimes I'm bad at coming up with ideas for streams for Warframe. Fun things to do on a stream for Warframe. That I think people would be interested in watching. That's what it is. So that's one of the reasons we don't stream Warframe that often. Because I'm like, would that be fun for people to watch me do? And then I don't stream it. And that I'll be clear, that happens with other games too, where there are other games that I'm like, I want to stream this, but I can't come up with a good idea of something fun to do in the game. Yeah, we'll leave it in S tier though. Let's talk about, what do we talk about next? Which game do we talk about next? Oh, there's so many good ones here. And some bad ones. Some bad games. Some bad games, some good. Where do we go? Let's talk about this game. The Stanley Parable. Ultra Deluxe Edition. I'm going to say, if you haven't played the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe Edition, or the Stanley Parable, it's a game, alright. Oh wait, actually, wait. Back it up a second. No, again, I'm putting them in B tier while we talk about them. Well, I'm putting them in B tier while we talk about them. So it's just in the middle of the chart, and then I can move it up or down. One other thing about Warframe. Before we move on to Stanley Parable. One other thing about Warframe is I love the weapons in the game in general. Not all of them, but a lot of them I just find way more interesting than weapons in just about any other shooter I've ever played. I'll be honest, any of those games that are like, I can't name the games because I don't play them. Any of those games that are like super modern shooters, like a modern sleek gun, that's just like this black gun that's and like you talk to a gun nerd, that gun nerd could tell you, yeah, that's the something number letter or whatever. I don't like those games because I find them to be unimaginative, while the weapons in Warframe I find to be much more imaginative. It's one of the reasons I actually even play Warframe. But talking about Stanley Parable. Yes, exactly what Adam just said there. Lots of great stuff to say about Warframe. And honestly, if I really made like a bullet point list, I could talk about Warframe for a while. Actually, here's the funny thing. Warframe is free. I've spent a good amount of money on it, on skins and premium currency in the game, just because I want to support the game. But it's completely free, and I don't have to do any of that, but I want to. Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe Edition is one of the fun. Yeah, and if you do play the game, you can earn the premium currency. No, I'm not lazy. I want to pay them. I want them to have the money because they make a game that I've poured 3,400 hours into. I purpose. Anyways, Stanley Parable. Is a very difficult to describe game, if I'm honest. If you haven't played it and don't know anything about it, a lot of the game is kind of about the narrator, because like you do something, the narrator narrates what you do, and sometimes the narrator says something you're going to do and you don't do it, and you sometimes get on the wrong foot with the narrator. It is among the funniest games I've ever played. I can't currently think of a game after... No, there's one game I can think of that I count as just as funny, but I can't think of one that I count as more funny than the Stanley Parable. It is a hilarious game. I was scrolling to check average playtime by looking at what sort of hours people have in the Stanley Parable on Steam, and there's a review that is bucket, then repeats that like 200 times or something. It's a relevant review, surprisingly. If you didn't see me play it, I had a bucket in the game. It was a very good bucket. A very good bucket. I don't know what to say about the game. It's on a 60% discount right now. It's $10. For years, I was like planning on playing it. I'm like, one of these days I'll play that. I've heard it's good. One of these days I'll play that. I've heard it's good. I wish I'd played it sooner. Because it is so good. It is hilarious. Oh, that's annoying, Shadow. It's super enjoyable. It's affordable. It's streamable. Actually, Stanley Parable might be my most viewed stream this year. So yeah. But I'm not sure. What do we rate next? What do we rate next? Ooh. Let's rate the game of the year for some people, not for me. I'll tell you that right now. Clear Obscure Expedition 33. I want to talk about this a little because it's some people's game of the year. It is beautiful. It is beautiful, and I love the soundtrack of the game. Beautiful, incredible soundtrack. Maybe a COEOD tier for AI. I haven't done any research on this, so I'm not going to rate it based on that. But depending on how much AI is used, I would rate that against them. So I'll just put that out there. And I'm not doing the research now. But I do have some stuff to say about Expedition 33. The good is that it's beautiful. Very nice graphics, very nice music, amazing. I also think I liked the characters, and I liked the style. It sort of had a bit of a steampunk flair to some of the technology and stuff in that. And if you didn't know, I like steampunk. That sounds really bad. I'm going to rate it based on what I'm going to say about it here. And I'm just going to add the caveat that it should be rated probably even lower, depending on the use of AI. I have some gripes with the game. So the game attempts to be a like Souls-like turn-based game sort of thing, and in some ways it hits the mark there. However, I do actually have some gripes with Souls-like games themselves, which means that doesn't necessarily help the game. There's certain ways that builds work in Souls-like games where that I'm not a fan of. Maybe you'll tell me I'm wrong about this, but I'm just telling you right here, I don't like this. I could be wrong about it. What is a Souls-like? There's the Dark Souls games 1, 2, and 3. There's Elden Ring. There's a number of games. A lot of them are super difficult. not necessarily Code Vein. Is that the game I'm thinking of? Is also one, and a lot of times they have a lot to do with dodging around to dodge your enemies. Rarely do they let you be a proper mage, which I like to be in the games, which marks it against them. But though Clear Obscure lets you be a mage, basically, with a certainty. But I don't like the way builds work in Clear Obscure, where you kind of have the builds are not intuitive. And here's the thing, I'm fine with a game having builds that aren't intuitive, but the problem is most of the builds are not intuitive in Clear Obscure. Like, I have to look up what is the best weapon for this character, and then how do I which stat does it run, and then I build for that weapon starting before I get the weapon. I don't like the way the builds work, and I know there are Souls-like players who will tell me I'm wrong. I just don't like that system, though, of the way the weapon builds work. Another thing, maybe I'm wrong for thinking this one as well, you can tell me that, but this is my opinion here. The way the combat works in it, E33 isn't anything Souls like, it's more Final Fantasy. I've played one Final Fantasy game, and Expedition 33 isn't anything like the single Final Fantasy game I've played. I know more about Final Fantasy from the Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy sets that came out than from the Final Fantasy game I played too. So I will leave that to you. I don't know enough about it. But so there's something that the combat does in Expedition 33. I think some people like this quite a bit. There's this whole deal where you select an ability, you use it, and then you have some timing challenges to hit. You hit a button, and for this thing there's like and then you hit a button again, and then it's like a perfect attack. You get extra damage. Some of the attacks will actually hurt you if you don't do them very well, and then you flip it and the reverse. When the enemies attack you, you time a thing to dodge or parry. Like, oh, I had no idea. The only Final Fantasy game I've played is Final Fantasy 14. That's the only one I've ever played, and even then I never really hit max level, even though I was grinding for it. Because I had some gripes about... okay, there was one major thing I didn't like about... No, two major things I didn't like about Final Fantasy 14, but we're not here to talk about that either. But... So there's this whole timing thing in the combat here, which means there are two primary columns of the combat. There's the timing column that makes part of the combat, and there's the strategy column, because there's so much strategy about which abilities you use. Here is my problem. The columns aren't balanced. They're just not balanced at all. Because essentially... let me put it this way. If you did one of those completely perfectly and the other really badly, only one of with one of those you'd succeed, with one of those you'd get trounced. And the thing that really annoys me is if you like messed up every single timing but did your strategy perfectly, you'd die. You couldn't make it through that game if you did that. You have to, but if you did your strategy poorly, but your timing was like perfection, you'd do great. It annoys me that those two like central columns of their combat are unbalanced, and I'm sure some people are fine with that, and I'm sure the devs are, honestly, too. I just don't like that, to be honest. I love turn-based games. And I love strategy games. As you honestly can see from this list, that I love strategy games. We have several strategy games in this list. But, yeah. What tier do... I'll put it in... Oh, here's something else about it. We can't take too long on this. But here's something else I don't actually like about it. Revisiting an earlier game on the list, Divinity Original Sin 2. Essentially, because we're comparing two turn-based games here. Essentially, every combat in a Divinity Original Sin 2 has some unique tactical twist for you to change up your tactics from previous ones. Sometimes it's just a terrain difference that makes a big difference. It's just like some cliffs and some oil barrels. I'm actually thinking of a specific one. Or sometimes it's something larger, like in a few turns a giant enemy arrives. With Expedition 33, you are doing repeated, highly strategic combats, and some of them are... There's too many that are basically identical strategy-wise. Too many that have identical strategy. The game gets too grindy with this. I'm rating the game C tier. Honestly, if what Adam's saying is true about the AI uses, it might deserve to be in D tier. No, if what Adam is saying is true about it, just errata that into D tier. But I'm putting it in C tier since I haven't done my research myself on it, and now I'm real down and frustrated. Let's talk about something I actually enjoy. What game do we talk about? That actually has me like depressed. Nice, Shadow. Funny enough, still, I think I voted for Expedition 33 for the Game Awards Game of the Year. All of the same, because I didn't like any of the other games more than that. Let's talk about something I enjoyed, though. What do we talk about here that I enjoyed? We talk about something... Don't Starve Together. It's okay, the viewers' votes worth basically nothing. They're not worth a ton, but... yeah. Though actually I kind of appreciate that about the Game Awards a little bit, because I know that if if viewers vote for about everything, and there are some games that would win awards that I think shouldn't, just because of the raw numbers of players. Some of those super mainstream games. Don't Starve Together. Again, just putting it in the beat here while we talk about it. Don't Starve Together. We did a couple of streams of this year, and I'll be honest, just kind of spoilers a little. I want to do some more Don't Starve Together streams in the future. Because spoilers, I really like Don't Starve Together. I'm actually even thinking, once they finally come out with the skill tree for my favorite character, I'm thinking of doing a full playthrough every boss in the game. I want to stream a full boss, every boss killed playthrough once they add the skill tree to my favorite character. We did a few Don't Starve skill tree. Yeah, some of the characters have over half of the characters have skill trees now. Like 2/3 of the characters have skill trees, but I think the number's 6. 6 characters don't have skill trees right now. And when did they add the last skill trees? It was earlier this year, I think. I'm scrolling through patch notes, 1 second. There we go. That's the... It was February 27th that they added Walter, Windy, and Rotax skill trees. Why has it taken them so long to add any more? I know last I played with 2014, but what did they do to the game? Oh, yeah, you know, the funny thing is when I played Okay, actually, late last year, early this year, I have an offline friend that I've been playing Don't Starve Together with, and actually really basically taught me how to properly play the game and how to make it so that surviving isn't at all as a challenge. It's just figuring out how you're going to kill the bosses and how you're going to make farms in the game and stuff like that. The game's changed a lot for me, and the game's changed a lot for everyone. Enjoyability, affordability, streamability. I think it's a fantastic game to stream because technically there are ways to it does keep a decent constant tension with the resources in the game and the way things can just burn down in an instant, and things can go round quickly in the game and stuff. So I think it's pretty good to stream. Enjoyability, you kind of hear what I'm saying about the game, how much I personally enjoy the game. And it is incredibly affordable. It's normally $15. It's currently discounted 66% down to $5.09 on my Steam page here. And the game also comes with an extra copy for you to give a friend. So it's 2 copies for $5 right now. And it's normally 2 copies for $15. It's a very affordable. I think they make a lot of money off of cosmetics. I've bought like one cosmetic pack that I really wanted. It's the definition of an S-tier game. Just please add the skill trees for the other characters. I wanted to say add the skill tree for my favorite character, but they're going to save my favorite character till the end. They're going to wait Actually, that's a really good question, Shadow. You might just be making a joke there. With, Shadow says, what if I don't have a friend? I've actually played plenty of Don't Starve Together solo. It's actually a good game to play solo too. The original game is also solo, but Don't Starve Together, you can play plenty solo yourself. It has different content. The two games' names are kind of, I want to say, like, misnomers, because, okay, so technically Together is a game you can play co-op, while you have to play Don't Starve alone, but you don't have to play Don't Starve Together co-op. I've played it solo fine enough. I've enjoyed playing it solo, and it also just has different content in the two games. So yeah. Adam, you used to play the Fire Girl. I have about 3 characters I like playing. One of Foul Mode and the other 2. The Fire Girl is my 3rd favorite of the characters. Because I don't know if anyone's noticed, I do like fire. But my favorite character is Wickerbottom, the librarian. And she's basically a mage with all her books that do all sorts of different things. I think they're going to save her to one of the last updates. The Who now, she has a bunch of different books that she can craft. If she crafts the books, she can read them. Reading them costs her sanity, but they each do a different effect. There's a lot of books, otherwise I'd tell you all the effects. There's somewhere like between 15 and 25 different books with different effects. And I love that utility. And it's this year where we played Don't Starve Together. Me, Yanyan, and Ritsu. If you can see that in my thumbnail, I have all 3 of us in the style of Don't Starve in the thumbnail. That was fun. I'm trying to remember. I think it fell on some rather unfortunate timing, where I should have actually mentioned this earlier in the stream. We were playing it at the start of the year, and if you're unaware, had a bit of a thing mid-year. Not mid-year, near the start of the year. Ouch. Where I did have surgery, and we kind of didn't have very many streams for like a month and a half at that point, and I think that's kind of what killed our Don't Starve Together playthrough, but I'm not sure. It's been a while. That was unfortunate. Honestly, that threw off the channel a lot. Might have even hurt. That actually hurt multiple playthroughs of games. I remember Wilson, Fire Girl, Robot Mime, Maxwell. Okay, just a second. DST characters. Not fandom wiki. I don't like fandom wiki. I like... Is this the one I like? This wiki's fine. These are the characters in Don't Starve Together. Where is she? Wickerbottom's my favorite too. Love playing Wickerbottom. My second, my other 2 characters I like are Willow, the Fire Girl, and Winona, the engineer. I like Winona. She can set up turrets or they called catapults and spotlights and stuff. I've played a lot with two friends offline who have played Wirt and Wanda. One of my friends also played a lot of Maxwell at one point. Well, that sounds good, Tiny Desk. But a lot of the characters have some unique themes to them, and they have. Actually, let me show you, because some people might not, and I am completely derailing the stream. We're talking about Don't Starve Together. They have skill trees, like this. Where they place points. If you ever want to restart it, I do want to, but I want my character to get the skill tree first. I'll be honest, I've even put my offline single player playthrough on hold because I just want them to come out with my character's skill tree. I'm like looking at the gaps between the other skill trees, going, okay, any time now they'll announce the next skill trees, right? And then they don't. And then I'm like, any time now. And then they don't. Do the skill tree reset every playthrough? No, they do not. So you get insight points. Also, you cannot fill out the whole skill tree. But you can change where your points are placed in the skill tree from playthrough to playthrough. And there's a lunar side of the... almost every skill tree has a lunar and a shadow section that are... you can only be either lunar or shadow. If you go for the lunar, you can't do the shadow. Some of them, it's an easier choice between some of the skill trees are more well balanced than others. I'm going to say the first skill tree they made, it was good for the first one, but it's not so good now. They made Wilson a skill tree. I think they should redo his skill tree, if I'm honest. It's powerful, but I think it's kind of lame. Enough of lava and heights and hot places. I don't like heights myself. But I completely plan on doing some more streams of Don't Starve Together sometime, but I really want them to come out with my character skill tree. Shadow and Tiny Desk, we're all afraid of heights. All the three of us, at least. Not a fan. Some of you may know this, but it was like last October, not this October, but last October we played a game with scary eldritch monsters, but the thing I was most scared of in it was the heights, not the eldritch monsters. Let's rate a game. Let's rate a game. And let's also explain why I didn't do another stream of it. Okay, so last year we played all the way through Undertale. We had a stream this year or two, I think, where we were doing the pacifist route of Undertale. The story and role of Undertale are great. Streamability, fantastic. I always get people showing up to watch, so in fact I've never seen so many suns as before. Also, in case you're unaware, it was last year was my first time ever playing Undertale, so that was interesting. Found out the cultural phenomenon that it is. Half the reason I want to put this here is to explain why we never finished the pacifist route. If you watched it, it does not stand for love of the shadow. And I'm almost certain you know that because the first stream you ever watched of mine was a Deltarune stream, Shadow. Which is in the Undertale series. The pacifist route, we cut it short because I think we got to the final boss fight in it. I had to end the game, end the stream, because it was honestly getting quite late to my time, and I had to even get up extra early the next day. I did remember that your first stream was a Stouder stream, Tiny Desk. The problem is we never finished that boss fight at the very end of the game against... I can't remember the name. Yes, Adam. That's true. But Undertale... Okay, I didn't think I thought about it several times. I'm like, I need to finish that game. And then each time I thought about it, I went, I don't think I'll be able to kill that boss. I honestly don't know if... I don't think I'd be able to beat the final boss of the pacifist route. If you don't know this, I'm not very good at bullet hell games. And I feel like I'm... No, Sans you fight in the genocide route. Okay, let me... I can't remember what the character's name was. Undertale... pacifist... final boss. Asriel Dreamer. Oh, pardon the fandom ads that I might be on. Okay, no. Adam, I don't think you know what I mean. When I say I'm not good at bullet hell, I really mean I'm not good at bullet hell games. I'm really not good at bullet hell games. Like, when I played Undertale, that was the first bullet hell game I'd played in years and years. I cannot think of the last time I'd played a bullet hell game before Undertale. Like maybe 2013 or 14 or the last time I'd really played a bullet hell game, and I played... It had been like a decade since I'd played a bullet hell game. I don't really play that. It's not really the sort of game I play. Unless I'm forgetting something. Maybe I've played more bullet hell games. I will say I rate Undertale highly. Either A tier or S tier. What tier do we rate it? Just sacrifice Flavit to the blood gods and get bad. That's a fair point. That's a good rate, a good method. I do like Undertale's humor. There's even a fan... No, there's multiple Undertale fan songs that I listen to on a regular basis now that I've played the game. It's also $10 and on currently a 75% discount. It's incredibly affordable. The only thing, and I don't... Okay, it's S tier. I'm putting it on a S tier. The only thing I personally get points for is just not a big fan of the bullet hell style, but it's not... That's not notable enough to dock it at all, really. But that's just my one caveat that if I could change the genre of the gameplay to a cowed battle game, a number of other different styles, I probably would. But obviously I can't. I don't have that reality manipulation ability. The Undertale fan sounds are fantastic. Yeah, aren't they? There's at least... I can count, 4 off the top of my head that I like listening to. And there might be even more. That said, I actually listen to fan sounds for a number of these games in this list already. Deltarune 2, but we're off topic there. Yeah, actually, I think Deltarune released this year and we haven't gotten to actually playing it, even though we played through 90% of the demo. Okay, let me cover that too. We stopped playing the demo of Deltarune before we finished it. Because we were fighting what's-his-face. Adware guy. Spamton. We were fighting Spamton. And actually the same thing happened with the end, the pacifist route, where we ended fighting him, and I just didn't have the heart to go back to playing it, because I was terrified that we'd stream it and I'd be stuck on one fight the entire game. Yeah, chapters 3 to 4 came out. And actually part of the reason we were even fighting Spamton is Spamton's the whole reason I played either of the games, actually. I wanted to meet the Spamton character. So I'm like, I have to fight him and beat him. And then I'm like, I don't think I can beat him. But anyways, Undertale, S tier, we don't have... yeah, we don't have Deltarune 2 rate, but and I haven't even played the new chapter. We should do that. Should be on the to-do list for next year. He's incredibly funny, but a bit out. Yeah. What game do we talk about next? What game? Let's talk about Monster Hunter Wilds. I'm curious. I need to pull it up on the Steam page. Monster Hunter Wilds. Mixed reviews on Steam. I need to talk about Monster Hunter Wilds a little bit. There's multiple facets to cover. I'm going to say it's a good game. I'm also going to say it has issues. Let's actually just first off start with the number one issue of the game. The number one issue is it's a bit poorly optimized. Oh, at least... It's been a bit since I last played it. Let me pull up my hours in it. And when was the last time I played it? I last played it in April. it is at least when I last played it, it was a bit poorly optimized. Like, how well the graphics ran on a computer versus how well they looked. They could have done better on that. The game itself, very good. We did a single stream of it. Maybe like a 2-hour or 3-hour stream of it. I have 44 hours on it. As a Monster Hunter fan, a friend of mine is... I actually should cover something related to that. I've played one other Monster Hunter game before, Monster Hunter World. I have 240 hours in a Monster Hunter World and 44 hours in a Monster Hunter Wilds. I know there's a bunch of other Monster Hunter games, but for one, I'm a PC player and not all of those are PC games at all. But I like the Monster Hunter games, especially I like them a lot more with friends. I played through Monster Hunter Wild and Monster Hunter World a fair bit with some IRL friends, no one you've seen on a stream before. It's a fun game. It's the long drawn out fights in it, the long drawn out high pressure fights remind me of years ago when I raided in World of Warcraft, which is a fond memory of mine. Honestly, that's the biggest issue with Monster Hunter Wilds, the poor optimization. I think it is A tier, like you said, Adam. And honestly, I think it would be a contender for S tier if it was better optimized. Well, I will say it's also, I think, a little expensive. Let me double check. Yeah, it's a bit... No, it's very expensive. It's on a 45% discount right now, which brings it to $38. That means that's $70 by default. It's a bit expensive. I'm not going to dock it tier for that, but it is worth knowing that Monster Hunter Wilds is on the expensive side. And I'll also say there were one or two mechanics of the way they handled things. Okay, I'm a light bowgun player in the games, and if you haven't played the games, you might not know anything I'm talking about here. I was a little bit disappointed with the ammo selection for the light bowgun in a Monster Hunter Wilds, and this might sound like nonsense if you haven't played the game, but yeah, I was a little disappointed with the ammo selection of the light bowguns. I think they didn't do the ammo selection justice to the light bowguns, which I was a little disappointed in. So it's A tier, with like a couple little caveats of it's game optimization. Here's a tip though, actually. Here's a tip for you. There's one or two services. In fact, actually, well, if I just if I move this here, my bow shows up there. You can see I'm not sponsored by it. I've seen people sponsored by it. But the NVIDIA GeForce Now, if you have a good internet connection, that lets you stream a game from another computer somewhere else in the world. And I actually played some of it on a NVIDIA GeForce Now, because it was better optimized on their computers than on mine. actually a decent way to play the game. Moving on from Monster Hunter Wilds. Yeah, moving on from it. Oh, I did like the dual weapon system the game had. I actually really liked that, though. I really had some fun with that. And actually would like to play more Monster Hunter Wilds than I have played. Maybe sometime I'll get back to playing that. Let's see, what game next? We have multiple elephants in the room right now. Of games that I should talk about. Let's get to the first elephant in the room. Where is it? I'm looking for it. I know it's here somewhere. There it is. Hey, we need to talk about the Project Moon games because we've played all 3 of them this year. Again, I'm not putting it in a B tier. I'm just putting it in the middle to talk about. We'll put it in the actual tier. Lobotomy Corporation. Some of you may know, but I had my eye on Lobotomy Corporation for years. Before we played it. I'm thinking I should play it sometime. If you're unaware what Lobotomy Corporation is, it's kind of like an SCP game sort of thing, where you I'm going to actually read the description of it on Steam here. A roguelite monster management simulation inspired by the likes of the SCP Foundation, Cabin in the Woods, and Warehouse 13. Order your employees to perform work with the creatures and watch as it unfolds. Harness greater energy and expand the facility. Whoa, look at that thing and that thing. These are real monsters, not like monster girls or anything, even though there's like a sort of anime style to it. We're talking real monsters here. No, not like some things you might expect. I like the game quite a bit. I like the theme of the game, the brutality. I like these sort of management games. Whoa. I never got to that thing. Whoa. I'm going to actually look away. I feel like that's spoilers. There's some humanoid monsters, but they're mostly horrifying. Exactly. I really, really like the game. It's even looks like Oxygen Not Included. Yes, it does. I have not played Oxygen Not Included, though, but the 2 games do look very similar, and I think they are similar. I just haven't gotten to playing Oxygen Not Included. There's so many good games out there. Lobotomy Corporation. It also has a very interesting world, which is why we have 2 other games on the list here that take place in the same world as it. Yeah. So there's only one reason we're not putting it in S tier. Also, it's $25 right now. I haven't paid attention to how often it goes on discount. It's not currently discounted, and so I can't say whether it goes on discount often or not. But it's currently $25, which I don't think is a bad price. We're going to put it in A tier. You might know I'm putting it in A tier, you might not. It's because of the spaghetti code of the game. doesn't go on discount often, from my knowledge. That sounds about right. I don't remember it going on discount often, but it's because of the spaghetti code and the fact that the game literally blew up in my face. Yep. We ended our playthrough quite unceremoniously when I think my save got corrupted. Yeah, and I have not come to a conclusion on if I should restart or try doing my current save on essentially challenge mode, where it's taken all of my gear, my armor and weapons. They're called something else in the game, but I'm trying to simplify for a stream that's not purely about it. Yeah. That's the only reason we're moving it to A2. Other than that, it is genuinely a good game. If you like management games and like these Dellog, it's a Dellog game, then good game. Try it. Also note, it is genuinely a rather difficult game at sometimes, I think, in my opinion. Should we talk about all the Project Moon games at once? Let's space them out just a little. Let's talk about Reverse 1999. Ooh. Oh wait, it's been a bit. We played this at the start of the year. Let me check, when is the last time I launched the game? I last launched it July 10th? I really don't think we played it that late this year, though. I think the last time we played it was much earlier in the year. Okay, so Reverse 1999 is a time-traveling gacha game, if you're unaware, where you're traveling through time. Let me show a picture of this game. I really like the game. It has some really interesting time travel stuff going on. I really like the style of the characters. The combat is cool. I feel like I didn't get into the game enough to really get into the combat system. It has an interesting turn-based style. Actually, its turn-based style is not too different from Limbus in some ways. It's not the same at all, but it has some similarities. Which we'll get to Limbus in a bit. It's a good game. It's really good. I love the style of the game. It is a gacha game. It's not as expensive as some gacha games to really play. I should go over, because I've never really talked about this. The whole reason we really stopped playing the game was because I realized just how time consuming it would be to catch up or keep up with the story. Like, we took a handful of streams to get through like chapter 2 or something, and I just looked through how many chapters there were, and I'm like, I don't think I have the time to keep up with this game. If I had more time in the day, it is a game I would love to get back to. It's just one I don't think I have time for. Too many games. Too many good games. Really interesting characters, and I'd love to know what's going on with the story in a certain way. And it's probably one of my games, not even just attacking gacha game, one of my games that I love its style the most. The like style of the characters and just general style, one of my favorite games stylistically. Where do I rate it? I think I rate it 8 here. I think I'm rating it 8 here. I think there's a chance if I played it more, it could be something I rate S tier. But we're going to go with 8 here. If you're thinking that this is weighted rather highly to the, well, it makes sense. I don't play games that I know I'll hate. But we do have one, at least one here that I know is going to be ranked poorly. What do we go to next? What do we rate next? Oh, this is a tough choice. Lots of good games. Lots of good games. It's just been a good year for games too. I think it's been a good year for games, but not necessarily entirely for new games. I'll say there's multiple games I've played on stream and off stream this year that I rate more highly than any of the new games that I've played on stream or off stream this year. Let's talk about Repo. Yeah, why not? Repo. I've only done one stream of Repo. I've only played Repo one time too. It was fun though. It's a fun game to play with friends. I have no idea if you can play it solo. I've only played it the one time. I'm guessing you can play it solo. It doesn't sound like it would be that fun to play solo to me, though. It's kind of a goofy physics game if you're unaware. Although this is a new game, isn't it? Yeah, this is a new game this year. I can't remember if I voted for it for the Steam Awards. What do I think of it? It's a cheap game, which is good. It rates highly for affordability. Oh, I agree with you there, Shadow. Very much so. Though actually there's also other things that can. It rates quite highly for affordability. It's also quite fun with friends. I'm not even sure I can say that much about this game because I feel like I don't have enough information about it, even though I did it for and played it for a stream. It's very fun to stream as well. What is going on with my Steam? I'm trying to take a look at it here, but it's doing something weird. I think it's not perfect, though. It's extremely fun, very affordable. I think it's a solid 8 here. It doesn't have any like major flaws that I can think of. This is kind of weird. I can't think of any reason it wouldn't be an S tier, but honestly, I just don't feel like it's an S tier either. It's just, I feel like it's just a very solid game. So yeah, repo. I can highly recommend if you have some friends that are like, do we want to get together and try repo? Do it. Give it a try at the very least. Though I will say I never played the vanilla game. We played it with Mads when I played it. I don't know. But our friends? We'll never know. We'll never know. We might need to look it up in the dictionary, actually. We might need to look it up in the dictionary. I just said the word. I don't know what it means, though. Let's do another one of the Project Moon games. Let's do another Project Moon game, because I don't want to spend the whole time doing them, and I don't want to do multiple in a row. Where's the next one I wanted to do? There it is. Limbus Company. Limbus Company. Limbus Company is technically a gacha game, but I'm going to say it's the, I don't know, least gacha of any gacha I've played. You don't need to... I don't think I spent any money on Reverse 1999 or Limbus Company, and I had a great time in both. I could be wrong, though. Limbus Company... I feel I'm still getting used to the combat system in it. It has a to me unique combat system. Maybe there are other games with a similar combat system. I just haven't played them, and that's fine. I'm fine if it's copied its combat system from another game. But it is a game that takes place in the same world as Lobotomy Corporation and Project of Ruina, and it's very casual friendly, and just got an update a few hours ago. Yes. In fact, I saw that. I'm like, update. I actually almost clicked update, then I went, wait, I'm streaming. I shouldn't download an update while streaming. That's very silly of me. Nope, that's oh, this is it. I don't know why I'm not tier listing this game. Oh, didn't mean to click that. Limbus Company. Limbus Company takes place in the same world. It has a, I want to say turn-based combat system, but in some ways it's kind of maybe a round-based combat system is a more appropriate term. And to me, it's something. This is one of my favorite things about Limbus Company. The main characters of the game are based on a lot of classical characters from classical stories, and a lot of them are based on characters from classical tragedies. And I'll say I haven't mentioned it often on the stream, but I love a good tragedy. Now, that doesn't mean I want every game I play to be a tragedy, or every story I read to be a tragedy. That would honestly ruin it. But a good tragedy story, now and then, I love. In fact, I think tragedy is my favorite genre in general. But I think it would ruin it knowing every story I go into is a tragedy. Oh yeah, the characters based on classical characters. Some of them I had already read the stories for beforehand, and some of them I'm reading their stories for now, and have read their stories for now. It is a very good game. I am tempted to say it's A tier just because of the gacha aspect of the game, and being afraid to rate any gacha game as an S tier when one of our criteria our our affordability. But it's not nearly as predatory, I think, with its affordability as others. I know we have people in chat who are more familiar with this. Can anyone tell me, do you think that affordability would lower this at you? Because I don't think I'm familiar enough with its monetization, since I haven't really interacted with monetization to know if I should knock it down a tier on its monetization. Do you know if some people have been like have paid way more than they should trying the game to getting a character? It's either way or S tier. If it's A tier, it's primarily just for the gacha aspect. I very, very rarely spend on it. Basically requires no money to play, but I know there are some people who are massive whales. We're going A tier. Yeah, we're going A tier on it. Kind of feel bad doing that in some ways, because I know it's better than some gachas, but I need to mention that it's a gacha and all. Let's see. What do we do next? Let's talk about this one. This one had a big boom. What is this? This is called Clover Pit? Okay, yeah, I'm right. It's called Clover Pit. We did one stream of it and I haven't played it afterwards. But sad, I didn't finish the game. I'd like to finish the game. I just didn't have time to make room for multiple streams of this game. I'll be on. If you're unaware what Clover Pit is, it's kind of like a mix of Balatro and Inscription. I can't say that you got me to purchase it after you played it. I think it's a very good game, and I actually think I need to play it some more. It's here's the Steam page. It's very good. It's like playing one of these games like Balatro or Inscription, but instead of poker or a trading card game, it's a whatever this game is. Slot machine. I couldn't remember what the slot machine was called for a moment there. I'm like, what is it? Yeah, slot machine. I can highly recommend this game. It's definitely worth a try at the very least. It's also $10 normally, 20% off now. There's zero reason I can think of anyone even telling me to rate it anything lower than S tier. It is a fantastic game. That's the only reason I didn't do several streams of, is because there were lots of other horror games to get to in October. I mean, we have several other horror games. Actually, half of the games we have left in this list are horror games we played in October. No, actually, most of the list. Let's knock out one of those other ones then. What do we get to next? What do we get to next? Let's actually talk about Little Goody Two Shoes. I think that's the name, right? Little Goody. Yeah, Little Goody Two Shoes. In case you're wondering, it's $20 on Steam, but $10 right now because it's 50% off. I had a good amount of fun playing Little Goody Two Shoes. I found its story to be interesting. I think it was also really well made. Main character, not very nice. Not actually something I often say about games. Not a very nice main character. Maybe she grows over the course of the story. This is another one where I want to tell you the reason we didn't really get to finishing it. And this is a case where it has almost nothing to do with the quality of the game. Yeah, she had a rough life. This is a thing where after like 2 streams of the game, it felt like we were still in the first like 5% of the game, and I felt like to actually finish the game, that might be an exaggeration, but it felt like to actually finish the game we'd be playing it for half of a year. And I just kind of decided we didn't have time to spend on it, despite the fact that it seemed like a very good game. Now about the game itself, it's really cool, I think. It's a fairy tale horror game, which I love. I love fairy tales, and although I don't consider myself much of a horror guy myself, despite all the horror games on this list, I do like dark games and dark fantasy, and fairy tale horror is kind of that. Any critiques I have about the game? There's a couple of systems I think the game should have done a little differently. I had a couple of critiques, like 1 or 2 times where I wasn't sure if I was doing something wrong or if something was scripted, if you know what I mean. There were certain parts that were very unclear. Yeah. Like, if you saw my stream when I was trying to like escape from that cave and the like monster in it like killed me each time, I still don't know if it's like scripted to kill you every time and you have to not go in the cave, or if I was just doing badly and I could have potentially gotten out. And I don't like that I don't know which way it was. I feel like that should have been more clear. And there's like little things about the game. Also, something about it's been a bit, but something I remember being a little annoyed by something related to the save system, and like maybe it was like sometimes unclear when I needed to fill my hunger bar, my Brad hunger bar, and I think I had to like redo multiple sections because it was like, oh, I thought I could wait. So I think I'm putting it in the A tier because it has some of what I consider minor issues, but it's a good game. It's a good game. It just has some minor issues. And even the minor issues that it has, Oh, not why we stopped playing the game, let me be clear. Those minor issues were not related to that. It's just because I didn't think I could allocate 30 streams to getting through the game, which at least at the point we were at is what it felt like it would take to get through the game. I don't know when should we talk about Stardew Valley? Let's talk about Stardew Valley now. Do we talk about Stardew Valley and modded Stardew Valley? Well, look at the blueprints. Let's get through a couple of the Halloween games we played, so the list doesn't end up entirely Halloween games. Let's get through a couple of them now, and then we can have a bit more of a balanced list of Halloween and non-Halloween games. Which of these do we talk about? Let's talk about Little Nightmares 3. We've played Little Nightmares 1 and 2 on a stream ages ago, actually. We were like at 50, we were like 40 subscribers or something when, oh, maybe even less than that. 20, 30, 40 subscribers when we played the first Little Nightmares games. So, a while ago. They were a lot of fun. I would currently rate Little Nightmares 3 as not being the best of them. I think Little Nightmares 2 is the best of them. However, I also want to bring something up. I have been playing through Little Nightmares 3 a little off stream. Why? I'm playing through it with a friend off stream, because it is technically a co-op game, even though we played it single player on a stream. It's been interesting. I've actually noticed certain details about it that improve my opinion of it even more. I don't want to say them because they're actually spoilers. And one of my favorite things about Little Nightmares 3 and 1 and 2 is the world that makes them up and the general storylines of the game, so I would not spoil the games for you. I find it very interesting the way they construct the world and the way creatures behave and stuff. It makes me wonder about the greater scheme of things in this world, and there's always a chance they don't actually have a plan for the greater story, the greater world. But it keeps my brain working about the world of Little Nightmares games. And yes, now there's also if you were there for it, the final fight of Little Nightmares 3. Do I say it was trash? Was it bad? Was it poorly designed? It was something. I think they should have done that final fight differently. This is purely from a gameplay perspective here. The final fight in it, it's almost like you had to be standing in just the right spot and just the right time, which is fine for certain games. It's fine for a competitive game. It's fine for for certain types of game, but I don't actually see any reason why they did it this way. I think it would make sense in a game where the gimmick of the game is that you're repeating the day over and over, because then knowing, okay, I've got to stand here to avoid this with no clue as to where you have to stand before makes sense, but I think that Final Fight was bad. I'm torn between rating this A and B. I really like the game. Here's something else I don't like about the game, though, as I'm saying how much I like the game. They have like an expansion pass, and the 2 chapters of the expansion pass aren't even out yet. One chapter is scheduled for April through June of next year, and the other October through December, and some people have already bought that. I would be so disappointed if I had bought that. All you get right now are 2 costumes for the character if you buy the $15 expansion pass. We're rating it B tier. I really like the game, though. But the game, at least as of when I played it, had some issues. And that expansion pass. I highly recommend playing it, though. But it's a B tier, I think, for me. Now, because you're spoiling it, Adam. Adam spoiling where I'm going to rate Blueprints. Blueprints as an S tier game. Shall we count the reasons why? Blueprints. Pulling up Blueprints. I almost want to do some more streams of Blueprints next year, but like we've already done a number of streams of it this year. Blueprints is a game about... Let me. We could play Blueprints for the rest of this stream. It's a game about puzzling through a mansion that's ever shifting around you. You choose rooms as you go through it. If you've ever played one of the board games, The House on the Hill, Betrayal, and that's the House on the Hill, whatever it's called. I think I have it in the other room. It's similar to that in the way you build out the house as you go. Not exactly the same, but similar in building out the house as you go through a game of it. But this is not a horror game that's potentially cooperative, potentially competitive, like that board game. This is a puzzle game where you get different clues and stuff, and different puzzles and different rooms, and I will say they could have made the boxes in the one room, the foyer, is that it, a little more difficult. I found those way too easy, as you can see if you watch my things of it. I'm actually even thinking of making a video about Blueprints, about the things I like about it, making a video about it, because this is my game of the year. Blueprints is my game of the year. I actually was originally planning on like making a little like graphic I could put on the Blueprints that marked it as my game of the year, but I honestly ran out of time today. I was going to make that before the stream, and they'd put like a little crown on it or a trophy on it right now, but I didn't do that, and I haven't licensed anything for it either. Blueprints is my game of the year. As Adam tells me, there's way more to the game than what we've even done of the game. We've completed the main story, but it's basically the tutorial of the game. There's way more rooms we've unlocked, and there's way more puzzles we've yet to do. It's so good. There were things that we'd found that we could do that we hadn't puzzled our way through yet, even when we stopped playing so far. It's easily my favorite game that released this year. Yeah, easily my favorite game that released this year. Easily my favorite game that released this year. You make amazing videos, in my opinion. Some of them. I don't think I've released a single video this year. And I kind of think, man, I need to put out more actual videos. I don't, though. I don't put out very many. It kills my motivation when I spend more time working on a video. Yeah, I know. I know that's what you meant. That's the theme. I do a lot of streams and I've done some shorts, but I haven't done any videos this year. I did some videos the year before and the year before. And actually one of my New Year's resolutions for this year was to do more videos, and I did 0. Anything else to say about Blueprints? I think everyone who likes puzzle games should play Blueprints. I know people who don't like puzzle games, but here's the thing. If you like puzzle games, play Blueprints. Just hands down. This isn't if you like puzzle game and you like this or something. No. If you like puzzle games, play Blueprints. In my personal opinion, streams are much more fun because we get to chat with you. I agree. I actually like streaming more than making videos. The reason I want to make more videos is because YouTube shows them to more people than it shows my streamers to. I just took a drink a moment ago, don't worry, Shadow. And thus it's a good way for me to get more, for us to get more people chatting in these streams and stuff, for me to put out more videos. There's some things I kind of want to say about Blueprints, but some of them are spoilery and I don't want to say that. Oh, here's something cool. Even in this puzzly sort of game, as you're drafting the rooms for your house, you kind of have like even some strategy to drafting in the rooms, which is really cool. Like you can go for like the rad rooms are negative, but you can still go for like a rad room strategy because the certain rooms that like benefit going for a red room strategy. Or you could go for a green room strategy, because the green rooms are like the outside rooms. You can do those, and then there's certain ways that you benefit from that. And another one of my favorite things is the way you get these sort of legacy game unlocks. In case you're unclear on this, I am referring to legacy board games. In case you're still unclear on this, legacy board games, for the uninitiated, are board games that you change as you play them. They're like, do I have one in the room with me? 1 second. Let me look around. I do have one, but that's kind of different. Different sort of legacy board game. Okay, so a legacy board game is like a game where you might put stickers on it to mark a permanent change to the state of the game for future games. Or you might be instructed to completely destroy a piece because that piece can't be used in future games. That's kind of a legacy game, and that's kind of something that happens in a Blueprints, where you'll unlock a certain thing and that's permanently unlocked for you now. Hopefully you can do that sometime, Tiny Desk. But let's stop talking about Blueprints, because I could spend, it's another one I could spend the rest of this stream talking about. There's about 3 of the games here that I could literally spend all stream talking about. No, they're not like D&D. Let me Google a legacy game to show, because I'm going to pull one up that I've never played, but will be more. So in case everyone doesn't know, I am a really big board gamer. I can reach out and touch some board games right there. Legacy Risk, for instance, is a board game, and it might be that and part of the idea is you can only play the game through once. Now, playing through it consists of multiple games of Risk, similar to normal Risk, except I'm almost certain there's a legacy Monopoly as well, but I'm not sure. But it's like, okay, you play Risk and just like normal, except maybe I haven't actually played this one, but maybe one of the colors gets an upgraded piece that can be available in the next game, and maybe one of the territories on the board gets upgraded so it's extra defended for the next game, and maybe one of the cards in the deck is you're instructed to tear up after you play. Legacy board games can be really cool. I have a lot of board games, but they always get destroyed by tiny children. Oh no. I'm sorry to hear that, honestly. I try to keep my board games away from tiny children. Because my board games are not the sort tiny children would play, or even probably understand the rules of most of them. Use one or two that maybe. But anyways, that's me rambling about blueprints. What about... You can take it as me highly recommending a blueprints. What about another horror game, because this is filled with them? Let's talk about vampire. So this is Bloodlines 2. Bloodlines 2. Let me pull it up on Steam really quick. It's the full title of the game is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. It takes place in the World of Darkness universe, within the same world as other Vampire the Masquerade games and other World of Darkness games, Werewolf the Apocalypse and Mage the Ascension and things like this. If you don't know what I'm talking about, allow me to clarify a little. The World of Darkness is a primarily TTRPG based world. It's like D&D. It's primarily in the TTRPGs, but it has a few video games for a few of the different games. To further clarify, this is basically like a modern world, except it's a modern world where there's some supernatural thing hidden in the corners, like vampires and werewolves and mages and wraiths and stuff. And I like World of Darkness, even though I haven't actually played a lot of World of Darkness stuff. Now that's World of Darkness, that has something to do with Bloodlines, because Bloodlines takes place in it. That's all that said. Bloodlines 2 has some issues. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 has some issues. It has some issues with saves. You read the contract, Shadow. It has some issues with saves, like the game not really auto-saving enough. It has some issues with... That's the biggest thing I think of, actually, is it having issues with saving. And you have no manual save access, and it doesn't do enough auto saves. The other thing is, it's not what the people who played Bloodlines 2 wanted it to be, which is considered by some people for it to be a cardinal sin, for it to not be what they wanted it to be. It's not like Bloodline 1. And honestly, it's alright if they dislike it for that, but I'm not counting that against the game, because it's literally a different game made by... I doubt there's anybody who worked on the first game working on the second one. And they made certain choices making the game that make it different from its predecessor. And I think some of those things aren't as bad as some of the people think they are. But the game does have some issues. There's some issues I've heard of related to playing the game through a second time. I think they should have more bloodlines than they do for a game literally called Bloodlines. I think I'm going to rate it as a B tier game. Though even as a B tier game, I think it could use improvement. Some people would rate it much lower than B tier, I'll say. And I'll also say, I'll be honest, if I wouldn't argue against it being rated lower than a B tier either. Not really. Oh, also, I should note, we played like 3 or 4 hours of this game. Oh, right, it says I have 47 minutes in the game because the way I had to do that weird workaround to even get the game to launch. I played a lot more than that. I played a lot of it off stream. So I played more of it off stream than we played on the stream. A fairly significant amount more. I don't know of the movie Final Destination and Bloodlines. Shadow. But interesting. Let's finish talking about the Project Moon games, shall we? Again, not rating it B tier, just putting it there for a minute. Library of Runa. We've only done 2 streams of this, and I'd like to do more streams in the future. Because it's in the same very interesting role as the Batman Corporation and as... I nearly said the wrong word. Limbus Company. I nearly said it's in the same world as Undertale, but that's not at all correct. I just glanced up and saw Undertale there and nearly read the word. That's not right. It's a bit long but very fun. Oh, it is? Oh, actually, that makes me curious. I need to pull it up because library. So I currently have 8 hours in the game. Looks like people average around between 100 to 200 hours on it. Okay. Wow, actually it would take longer than I realized to get through that. I will say, from just a gameplay perspective, I think it's my favorite of the Project Moon games. Because as I've mentioned before, I love a good card game. I'm actually really into the card game of Magic the Gathering, even though we haven't done a single Magic stream this year. We've done Magic streams, I think. Yeah, we've done Magic streams before, just not this year. And that's actually purposeful that I didn't do any this year, even though I've played plenty of Magic this year. I just know that it's not for everyone. I will say, actually, so far, Limbus Company, after the 3 Project Moon games, Limbus Company's Story is my favorite so far. I'm undecided on the story of Library of Ruina at the moment, I think. But I like it. I like the library setting. Love books myself, and I find it very interesting. Part of me wonders if I should play more Lobotomy Corporation before finishing it. I'm undecided on that. Yeah. Absolutely correct statement there. Magic the Gathering, like the card game, yes. I love Magic the Gathering. In fact, actually, I'm thinking of sometime soon making a separate channel for Magic the Gathering streams and stuff. I might do that soon. Might make a channel for streaming and playing Magic the Gathering on separate from this channel. Might do that sometime. It's been something I've been thinking about for a while, actually. I was just wondering what people's average hours look like in Lobotomy Corporation. I'm curious. Anywhere between like 40 and over 105. I don't know. I don't really know what people's average hours are. I don't know. I'm actually very conflicted about where to rate Library of Ruina because of the fact that because of how like early I am into the game. I feel like I don't know enough about certain aspects of the game to rate it properly. I'm so early into the game. I feel like I'm putting it at a tentative S here. It's either that or an A tier. It's definitely a very good game. We're going to rate it as an S tier for now. And remember, the only reason Limbus Company is rated at an A is just because of the gotchaness of the game. Which, speaking of, let's talk about this. This is Hankai Star Rail. It's another gacha game. We're going to lower its grade a little because of the fact that it's a gacha. If I could have any mild superpower that could be useful in my everyday life, it would be very simple matter manipulation. You know, the more I think about it, the more I think if I could have a mild superpower, I would love to have just automatic language translation in through my ears and into my brain and out of my brain, out of my mouth, language translation, like, and I suppose reading it too. You know, yeah, anyways. I feel like I don't have a lot to say about Library of Ruina because I feel like I've barely scraped the surface of it. Scratched the surface of it. we're just going to put it as a tentative S tier game. There's a chance I could play 8 more streams of it and decide actually A tier. I don't know. So could that kind of translation work on animals? Maybe, but I don't care about it for that. I care about it just for human languages. I don't even care about it for like, oh, decoding codes. No. Just for being able to speak and hear and read all the languages. That would be so cool. No, which do we right? Let's talk about Stardew Valley. Anyone who played Stardew Valley before? I've played Stardew Valley. I definitely played it back when it came out. That's a complete lie, in case you're unaware. So, Stardew Valley released in 2016. I first played it this year, 2025. 9 years late. Just a little late. Just a little late to the party. In case you're unaware, I currently have 405 hours on the game. I played it a little bit this year. I played a little Stardew Valley this year. Just 405 hours. I don't know if I've played any other game this year as much as Stardew Valley. Partly because of the wide variety of games I play. And that I've played this year. I like Stardew Valley. This might be somewhat telling as to what tier I'm putting this in. But if I wasn't limiting myself to the game, my game of the year having to be one that came out this year, then Stardew Valley might be my game of the year. But actually, there's 2 other games that compete with it for Game of the Year if we weren't limiting it to games that came out this year. But those other 2 I didn't actually play on a stream. Okay, the Jigsaw, it's an S tier game. The Jigsaw, it's S tier. Anyone think who thought I was rating it a D tier? Anyone? Yeah. Brad manipulation. Stardew Valley is very, very... Very good, very good. There's even an update coming out soon. What can I say about Stardew Valley that hasn't already been said? Nothing, but I can say things about Stardew Valley nonetheless that I haven't said already. I love the way the mines work. This is actually something that's kind of sold me on the game. is the way the miners work. The fact that you have an actual like combat portion of the game that you get a real amount of resources from that impact your other part of the game. Like one of we haven't tier listed a certain game here that we didn't even play this year, but I've played every year since its beta, and that game is Minecraft. I've played a lot of Minecraft in my life. I'm somewhat disappointed by a somewhat recent addition to Minecraft, the trial chambers, by the fact that you don't get much meaningful resources from trial chambers. I personally think it would be cool if in Minecraft you could fight through a trial chamber and get meaningful resources to just put towards generally other things you're going to do. And I'm a little disappointed with trial chambers, actually. They're not the worst. But I love the way the mine works, though. Some criticisms of Stardew Valley. There's some quality of life improvements I would do to the game. There's some drinking ominous potion battle and it unlocks something cool. Yes, ominous potions are designed to be used with trial chambers. To upgrade it to a more difficult mode, you can then get ominous keys to use in the big vaults. You can potentially get maces and it. Another neat thing is if you can go do the whole trial chamber farming it potentially for wind tower. Just drink an ominous potion and do it all again instantly with no cooldown. They're cool, the trial chambers, but I would change them if I was the designer. But part of that is due to the like a fantasy of being like a dungeon delver. I would like it to that was possible in Minecraft, being like my builds are somewhat fueled by my adventures in dungeons. For Stardew Valley, a couple of critiques. There's some quality of life changes I would do. Actually, Shadow, that's one of another of my critiques of the trial chambers. They shouldn't be made out of something that encourages you to tear them apart, I think. Oh, the resource. They should be made out of something that you can get the resource for easier in another way than tearing them apart. Oh yeah, I was definitely going to make an F tier for Stardew Valley. Way down here. But they do have some legitimate critiques. Like, there's some quality of life things, and there's also I wish there were I wish there was more of a more to the ranged combat style I always carry a slingshot on me because I enjoy using it for ranged combat, but it's not exactly very well made. Because at my height, I'm like a mage player in a game, and like at my height, I'm like a ranged spellcaster, and if I can't be a spellcaster, I'd at least prepare to be a ranged player in the games. But it's not very doable in Stardew Valley. I still curious lean around me and use it in niche circumstances. I also think some of the characters could be more interesting. It could have some more interesting characters. No, Shadow. No, don't make the trial chambers out of the purple blocks. Those don't look good. And I say this as someone who loves purple. I love purple. The purple blocks don't look very good. Yes. And just you've hit the nail on the head. The head on the nail. You've hit the hammer on the nail. That's the whole reason I have 2 Stardew Valleys on here. There's a Stardew Valley with 180 plus mods. I love it way more with mods, and I kind of don't ever want to play it without mods anymore. I love playing it with mods. I use mods to fix the quality of life things that that I mentioned that I have problems with. I use mods to add what are, in my opinion, much more interesting sorry, I'm multitasking here. Much more interesting NPCs. I use mods to add more things to do in it. I use mods to make what I view as some fantastic changes to the professions. In fact, it's one of my favorite mods, the mod I have that overhauls the professions of the game. I use mods that make the combat more interesting. You seem like you would mod Minecraft. I've played modded Minecraft more different mod packs than I can name off the top of my head. I almost want to launch and show the Stardew farm that I've been playing off stream this year, just for an example. Should we do that? I kind of think maybe we should, just to show like of the things we've streamed this year, this is what I like most: modded Stardew Valley. Now, it has competition with 2 things I've played off stream that we're not tier listing, but modded Stardew Valley is something else. I might be playing modded Stardew Valley. I'd love to see your modded farm. I'll launch this then. I will say I should not click in very much of anything while it launches, but I can tag. it has this whole thing where it gets upset and potentially crashes sometimes when you're running it with this many mods, or if you try clicking up of it or something. So let's let it have its fun with this like loader and stuff. I could see playing a significant amount of Mad at Stardew Valley for a long time to come. Especially also, some of you were there at least for the stream we did a couple days ago, very lightly modded, for a challenge mode where we did the Loved Gifts Christmas challenge, where we were doing a run through where we gift people with the loved gifts starting in winter. That was, to me, actually extremely interesting. I loved the... I was honestly a little skeptical about the idea, even though it was my own idea. But I thought I found the challenge to be very interesting. I think Stardew has a lot of depth to it, especially with mods. I'm attacking while this loads and have keeping an eye on it to make sure it's not like going to do anything bad as it's loading, because yeah, that is the one thing with modding games. I'm very cautious modding games because I'm always worried, is there a chance this will crash sometime? Just something to bear in mind when modding games. Waiting. I think it's nearly there. I think it's nearly launched. Should we talk about one of the next games while this launches? You already know I love the game. I love it enough that I'm pulling it up to show my single play. I say single player, but that doesn't convey what I'm trying to say, because we have multiple single players. I'm saying my single player, my offline single player, where I don't stream it. You know, that's my offline versus on a stream single player. Yeah, we should talk about one of the next one. Let's talk about me side. I'm not going to drag it anywhere right now, but we can talk about it, alright? So we might have Stardew pop up while we talk about it. Me side was very fun. If you like Doki Doki Literature Club, it's kind of the same thing. It's very different, not at all the same premise and different storyline. But in a way, it's kind of the same thing at the same time, if you know what I mean. Where it's a game with a very cute surface and a very dark. It gets very dark. The game. We'll look at this in just a moment. We'll talk about me sites, then we'll look at that. The twist upon twists were very good. Yeah. It was somewhat of a whacking simulator. And I have expressed a little that a whacking simulator done badly, I don't like. I think they did just the right balance. They didn't. If they did like a little bit more whacking simulator in the game, it would have like soured it for me. But they didn't. It was good. Oh yeah, that jump scare you're talking about, amazing. I don't want to comment on it too much because I wouldn't want to spoil it for someone, but it was amazing. It was a whacking sim with great characterization. The only issue was the quick time events after the glasses meter. Oh yeah, yeah. Something I'm trying to think of. What is it? I almost feel like I wanted the game to have a little more choices to it. That it didn't have as like one slight thing. Because like at 1 or 2 points it felt like it was telling me I had a choice, but I didn't. Like the little meter, the one that was like a little girl who had been tortured and tormented. I actually really didn't like how it felt. Like it almost felt like it was giving me a choice but forcing me to make the choice to abandon her. It felt like it was giving me the choice to not abandon her but forcing me to make the choice to abandon her. This is the one thing the one larger gripe about the game, that it felt like I had some choices that were there, but I wasn't allowed to choose them. Especially, here's the big thing, especially because near the start of the game, it gave me this bit in like a dialogue where, like, what was it? Of the like asked to see in the closet or not, and it had this like lockout where if I had chosen these things, if I had done these things this way, I could do this dialogue, and like it was a choice lockout, and like because of that, it had like given me a choice though, and because of that, I felt like for a lot of the rest of the game I should have had choices at different points, even if they were choices that I could be locked out of, and I don't know if I was or not. So I feel like it's an A-tier game. Very good game. It's a game that if you like games like Doki Doki Literature Club, that are like cute horror games, I recommend playing it. If you like those, it's not a game I recommend to everyone, because horror games aren't for everyone. I'm going to take a drink, then we're going to look at my... Actually, let's start loading it. Oh, please, I just realized something. I'm slightly concerned about... Yes! Okay. Yeah. I have 7 pounds, actually. Which is the one we started? Which was our first farm? Was it? It was this one, wasn't it? I think it was this one. With Leander and Almstone, we got to the 26th of fall. And then after that, I started my my offline modded one. Well, also I did a little of one of these as not an offline one that I did some of, and then I started one of these is a vanilla offline single player one I did some of. One of them's a test world for something else, and then here's the challenge world, and here's our modded playthrough we've been doing, and I would like to do more of. We're nearly at our first fall. Here's my day 8 of Spring 3 Pyro Glen farm. 798,000 gold. Is that 134 hours? I've also done some multiplayer with friends. Entirely off stream. Why did you name that character Chris? Because Chris Kringle. It's a Christmas themed one. Chris Kringle. Oh. I could have gone with Nick as in like Saint Nick, Saint Nicholas. I just wanted a Christmas themed name. Okay, this will take a minute, by the way. It takes a minute to load into the... Me side... Yeah. I liked me side. We played it through in one stream, I think. That was a kind of long stream, I think. Like, close to 8 hours or something. Or maybe 7 hours or something. Longer than I expected the game to be. Something I actually do wonder about it is replayability, because replayability factors into the affordability in my calculations anyways, because it kind of improves the value of how much you spend. Yeah. Okay, anytime now. Do you want $0? I've got the $0 on my desk right here. I got it. Hold it in the top. Okay, we also have... What games do we have left on the tier list? I can't see because this is loading. And really, I do not click off of the... So we're just twiddling our thumbs here. We have like 2 more games on the list, I think. We're going to show this really quick though, because I want to, that's why. So you remember another game we've been doing off stream? Oh right. You sensed something west of Cindersnap Farms. I know what that is. You remember off stream no, on a stream, on our Mado stream, there's 3 characters I've mentioned being interested in romancing on that one. One of them I've romanced on this one. Oh, also. And maybe we'll romance Mateo again another on the stream one. Yeah. I enjoyed my romance of Mateo here though. So, also kind of spoilers for Mateo's storyline. Because they have scars here. And Mateo didn't have scars when we were playing, so spoilers! I'm working on getting some more like stuff in the house. I don't have enough furniture in the house and stuff. And wait, what was it? We're going to take a little walk around the farm to show just how much this is me justifying the placement of the game. I have chests of stuff. This is my slime chest. I have some slimes, by the way. I have some slime hatches. There's 2 of my slime hatches. I have 2 more over here. I have another slime hatch here. This looks like a What's it, a shard? It's not a shard. This is not a shard. This is a crystallarium, an incomplete crystallarium. I'm working on completing my crystallarium here. It's in partial. It's in progress. It's a work in progress crystallarium. I actually want to have 2 crystallariums, one for jade and one for diamond. And over here, we have the bunnies and the dinosaurs. Just bunnies and dinosaurs in here. I don't know why I'm picking these up. It's not like I'm doing this day. Bunnies and dinosaurs, that's all we need. Oh. No, we got more dinosaurs. You didn't kill them. In here, we have our ancient fruit. And I completed the community center on this one, but my bundles are different on this one from the bundles we're doing on stream. So that actually sets it up about quite a bit. Down here we have... I haven't put anything on the first flow of Grandpa's shard here, but if we go up here, I keep forgetting to plant some, but we have an almost full set of ancient fruit up here. I think you can tell how much time I've put into this. I think you can tell I've put some time into this. I'm working on a bee setup down here. I'm planning on filling this entire area with bee hives or bee houses. Wild honey. Right. Yeah, we're working on filling that entire thing with bee houses. I have this bit over here. Well, it's going to take a moment to walk through. I said over here, but it'll take a minute. Yeah, I've been playing for like 5 minutes on this save. 5 minutes, I think, is correct. It's a bit of a whack, sorry. Anytime now. Down here there's something I don't know. This might be Stardew Valley Expanded or East Scarp. I don't remember which added this, but I have a bunch of tapped fir trees here to get fir wax from. I could chop them. I might chop them sometime and replace them with a different type of tapped tree. It's a sap farm. Also, I've been thoroughly working on raising my house with characters on this. How many went? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters at full house. Krobus one away. Oh wait, 1, 2. There's a few at 8 house. Quite a few at high house. There's even more I want to raise my house with. But also, I mean, you know, there's a lot of characters in this. Well, one other thing I'll show. There's like other stuff going on, but only so much I'm going to show right now, because this is actually a tier list stream, even if right now it currently looks like a stout. Look at this! I have an army of slimes. Yes! Behold my army. Come on, fight them. Okay, the green slimes are super weak, but the iridium ones, I mean the purple ones, are strong. Like, the green slimes get one shot. But the purple ones, they're strong. Anyways. It's actually kind of a preview of what I want to do with the one we play on a stream. Except no, yeah. Yeah. Anyways, let's. Oh, right. Labyrinthine and Soma. You might ask Dellog. Dellog, I can't find Labyrinthine on your channel. Well, it's unlisted, that's why. Well, you might ask Dellog, why is Labyrinthine unlisted on your channel? Because I unlisted it, that's why. I had fun playing Labyrinthine. I unlisted the stream of it. If you want, you can find that stream. I linked it on social media like Twitter and Discord. And you just have to scroll through the links and find the link. It was very laggy. That's the main reason I unlisted it, because Labyrinthine was very laggy. I wouldn't recommend watching the stream I did of it, because it was very laggy. Now that's the reason I unlisted the stream. No, that's part of the reason I unlisted the stream. Another part of the reason is because, along with the lagginess, I felt like the stream that was released of it, I didn't think it was very representative of what my channel was, and I didn't want people watching the stream and thinking, this guy puts out a bunch of laggy horror content. I try not to have my streams laggy, if I can help it. I try to have them look good, and I try to have them as I try to show better games than Labyrinthine, which will be our only D-tier game this year. Sometimes we have more D-tier games, yeah. I will say I also enjoyed playing it with other streamers. I played it with I played it with a bunch of other streamers. If any of them sees this, it's completely the game's fault. the highlight of my playtime in that game was the other people I played it with. The low light of it was the game itself. I'll be honest, I think it's a terrible game, and I cannot imagine any situation that I'd recommend playing the game. No, I'm still thinking and can't think of any situation that I'd recommend someone play Labyrinth in. I think it's a bad game. With a bad gameplay loop. It's walking around a maze. And sometimes you find something of relevance. Sometimes you don't. I like the puzzles. All of you know I like a good puzzle. But the gameplay loop of walking around these mazes, I think is really bad. And for a game with such a gameplay loop to also be terribly optimized? Ooh, anything good I can say about it? Good puzzles. Good puzzles. Decent environments. Anything good? It has a giant spider. That's not a good thing about it. That's a terrible thing about it. I hated that giant spider. I mean, if you're curious also, there's other streamers who I played it with. You can watch their versions of. I played it with Ritsu, Yanyan, Adam, who might have left. He was here earlier. Green Star. There were others there, but I didn't actually. I don't know everyone who was there. I didn't plan that stream. If I plan a stream, I know everyone who will be there. If I don't, it's happened there sometimes. I'm trying to think of anything to redeem the game. I think it's a bad game. If at some point in the future you're torn between this and another game, get to the other game. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about a good game like Soma. Soma. Made in... When was it made? Soma, made in 2015. A decade ago. The same people made Amnesia. I haven't played Amnesia. It's a psychological horror game with a very interesting story that brings up some interesting philosophical stuff. Interesting philosophical stuff. I liked the story. They have announced a spiritual successor to the game at the most recent Game Award that I'm very interested in playing when it comes out. I was surprised that Soma's... We had some issues with some lag on Soma. No, it's not B tier, remember. That's just like the middle. I'm going to put it somewhere else. Honestly, it's AOS tier. I haven't decided which yet. Soma's definitely either A or S tier. I had a lot of fun playing Soma. No, it's 8 year. There's a few reasons I wanted to put it all the way at S tier. Certain things. How did I describe? Certain gameplay elements that I found were a little less clear than I think they should be. Certain gameplay elements that I would have rather had a little more clarity to how they worked. And I'll also say the gameplay itself was nothing groundbreaking. Honestly, I think if you're playing Soma, you're playing it for the story. As such, I could see an argument for putting it in S tier, despite what I've said, but I'm putting it in A tier just because minor nitpicks. Minor nitpicks is the wrong way to say that. That makes it sound even more minor than it is. There were a few little things that kind of interrupted the flow of things and confused me. But other than that, great game that if you like horror games, especially a more philosophical horror game, still has monsters and stuff, I can highly recommend it. One of the better stories of a horror game I've played. In fact, like, looking at the horror games we've played this year, I think it's the one with the best story of this year. Let me check something. Actually, yeah, so there's one other thing we do on our New Year's streams, and it's not play Stardew. Though it seems that we changed that a little at this stream. We played some Stardew the New Year's stream. The other thing we do on New Year's streams, I'm not saving this day. I'll do this day some other time. There's one other thing we do on New Year's streams. And that is that we sorry, I was thinking about Stardew Valley, so I didn't remember where I was going. I didn't remember where my brain was going. I'm distracted by Stardew Valley. I do like Stardew Valley. So, every year we also do a wait, did I do that right? We also do a you know, New Year's resolutions and all that. Okay, I need to actually import the chat because let's copy this. I know this sounds weird because you don't know exactly what I'm talking about. Ah, I need to hold myself to it though. Ah, kinda skipped. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Ah. Whatever. These are the resolutions from last year. And I kinda didn't want to go over the resolutions from last year because I'm a little iffy on what I think about the past year. But on the whole, the last year's been a little... Like, okay, so we didn't get to 500 subscribers. I really thought we'd be able to get to 500 subscribers. And while my resolution for the channel was for us to have more videos this year, as I stated a little bit ago, actually put out 0 actual videos this year. We did lots of streams and shows, but I could argue that in that way I did this, but that would be a complete... that would be wrong. When I put this down last year, I was talking about like 10 to 13 minute videos. So I failed on 2 of these. And it's important to acknowledge that. I'll also say that a lot of that is because of just IRL stuff going on this year with surgery and over like 6 weeks of recovering from surgery this year, completely throwing things off. And to be honest, also, there's... I'm not going to talk about some of the things, but there has been stuff going on this year for me. There's been a lot of stuff going on. Just unplanned events in life. Outside of streaming, it has been a year for me. I'm trying to think now. I can't think of anything I really feel comfortable sharing. Actually, no, one thing, like, my vehicle broke down. I had to take it into a shop, get it repaired. That was frustrating too. Anyways, let's get on to making some more resolutions. No. Let's talk about the good. Collab Mo. That's actually fantastically done. I've done like at least like 2 collabs a month or something. If Adam was still here, he knows that very well. I've been doing a number of collabs with Adam in them, like. So collab Mo have been very successful there, and I think I have improved at my, I don't know, ability to do collabs. My collabs general, if that even makes sense. I think I'm doing better at collabs in multiple ways. I think we improve. So yeah, good stuff. Yeah. Wait. What is this? Oh, I see. Okay, that looks a little weird. Okay, it kind of weird the way some... things out on the screen here. Kind of confusing without me telling you what I'm talking about. Anyways, let's make some new resolutions. The previous years I decided this beforehand. Let's see, what's our first new resolution? My resolutions are to get better at crocheting so I can make and sell stuff and get money, and to get better at drawing and animating so that I have a reason to convince my fam to let me post on YouTube. Those sound like fantastic resolutions. We're going to change this. In case you don't know, 500 subscribers is one of the three requirements to, one of the three big requirements to getting monetized on YouTube. I at the moment, I am completely confident we can hit 500 subscribers this year. That I'm changing this resolution to... We now have the resolution to get monetized. Is so in case you're unaware, that has a couple other like things associated with it, like number of watch hours is big. Actually, that's the big one. That's the big one. We need to get more watch hours. Those are the big two things. We need to hit 3,000 watch hours and 500 subscribers. I will say, in case you're unaware, because they make this real complicated, that doesn't actually do anything like ad revenue. Actually, I'm curious, does YouTube show any of you ads while you watch this? Because I have no idea. I hope it doesn't, because I don't make any ad revenue or anything. I hope it doesn't show ads. But once we get 500 subscribers, and I don't think okay, good. I would hate it if it made money off of me without the 500 subscribers thing. I have premium, so I can't tell you. That's exactly why I can't tell either. I use YouTube Premium because so much of my entertainment and my music is from YouTube. That's the reason. But we unlock, the big thing is we unlock super chats and channel memberships at that 500 subscribers thing, which I think would be really cool if we had super chats, and I think I can then make some like emotes, emotes for the channel, and have YouTube members and such able to use those. That would be so neat. Although I'll say I have no idea what I'd do for emotes, but it would be so cool to have our own channel emotes. It's 1,000 subscribers for the actual me getting any money off of like ads. So yeah, this is the big thing I can think of for a goal, monetize. I'm actually going to do a... Let's add a goal here. I'm changing this. This is actually going to be a goal. We need 3 resolutions here. Monetized. So actually, let's change that. Let's go. Let's add an exclamation mark. Let's... I don't know what to change collab mode to. I've done a fantastically at that. No, I know. Okay, Mo videos is going to be something else. Mo challenges. Just like a few days ago, we did the winter challenge, and I had so much fun on that. And I thought it went really well. I want to do more challenges. I don't know most Dowdo ones, more other things. I don't know what games I'd do them in, but just more challenges. That was so fun. I think the only problem is coming up with ideas for them. Like we're playing the Project Moon games all of the time, and we're playing through them for the story. Maybe there's some way to make them more interesting with challenges, because then I can do both challenges and the Project Moon story. Hey, Clownfish Yankago. How's it going? I should put more thought into that. Ways we can add more challenges to things, because that made it super entertaining, and at least to me, super fun. I'm doing good. What about you? Pretty good. Pretty good. I'm actually going to put down, because these are the two big things for the channel. We'd like to get monetized in this next year. That would be so cool. And doing more challenges. Yeah, those would be... Wait a second! There's a game we played this year that's not on the tier list. Wait. Okay, we're going to go back to the tier list in a moment. There's one more game. It's not even on the tier list. Okay, but I'm going to add this. This is a goal that I'm not going to tell any of you, but I'm going to put it on the list. I just remembered a game that we played here, and I still have I have 3 monitors. The tier list is still on one of my monitors right now. And I looked at my tier list and went, wait, that game's nowhere on the tier list. So we're going to go back to the tier list in a moment. But I'm putting a goal here. I need a random letter. Someone name a random letter. Who wants to name a letter? Goal D. Okay, so this is goal D. I'm not telling you what it is. It might not ever even affect the stream. It could tangentially affect the stream, kind of, but it might not directly affect the stream. It's a goal for me. I need to check back next year to see if there's progress on it. This is the big thing. Next year, I will tell all of you whether I made progress on it. I might not tell you whether I succeeded or anything. But I'm looking my future self in the eyes right now. Dellog, did you make progress on that? You better be truthful, Dellog. I want you to make progress on Goal D this year. Let's go back to the tier list. So monetize, more challenges, and Goal D. I copied the chat interface here, and I completely forgot to paste it on the other one when we moved over. I feel very silly. I realized that about 45 seconds ago. I'm like, I completely forgot to even paste the chat, and at this point it's basically too late. Okay, we need to add a... Did you know that when we think of our future selves, we think of them as complete... That actually makes sense. No, I think that's a good goal, Clownfish Yankago. I think that's a fine goal. Oh, I don't have to be that. Abstract, since we're on a different screen. Let me see. I need to thumbnails. When did we play it this year? I'm going through my thumb. No. I'm going through my thumb. I cut myself out. There's one more stream. When did we play it? When did we play this game? October? I think we played it in October, didn't we? October? Here it is. Here we go. I drew myself in VisiPop out style and looks like Amber Pinkle. I've seen some of VisiPop stuff. Now I'm curious who this is. You mentioned Earl. Anyways, we also played the game Duat Night Abyss this year. We did a stream of its closed beta that I got into really early in the year, and then in October this game released. I'm putting it up here for now. Between the closed beta and the full release, they completely removed the real gacha element of the game. And honestly, still at this point, I have one big concern for the game, and that's how they even stay in business without the gacha element, because they don't... I think they've under-monetized the game. I don't know how they make money, because it's free and there's very little reason to spend money on the game. They made it too easy to get the characters without spending money. This is a very strange circumstance, and I want to I've seen other people and myself wanting to support Duat Night Abyss and being how do I support you, because there's nothing I want to buy from you. Earlier I mentioned having specifically paid money to Warframe to get cosmetics and stuff. I haven't done the same for Duat Night Abyss because there's nothing I want to buy from them. Yeah, another thing, while we've done just like two streams, I actually played the game a lot more after the stream in October. I played it and acquired my favorite character in it and started leveling him up a fair amount. I enjoyed it. I could even see you going back and playing it a fair bit more. In case you want to know, it's kind of a cross between like Genshin Impact and Warframe. I almost want to dock the game points for being too affordable. I don't like this music that just came on. 1 second. Yeah, okay, so I'm Tone. It is either an A tier or S tier game. I like the gameplay loop. I think the characters are really cool. I think I'm rating it at A tier. I think the game could use a little bit of work in certain areas. Monetization, it could use some work in, and not in the way I say it to any other game that it could use some monetization work. This one's completely free, people. And I see no reason to ever spend money on it, essentially. Which I think is bad for the game, because I don't see how it stays in a business if they don't. If I had to pick one thing that I find as a flaw, I would like a more open world. The game is kind of an open world game, but I'd like more space to that world. I'm rating it 8 here. Okay, there we go. There we go. Now we're done. We've done resolutions. We've tier listed 28 games. Plus tier listed Stardew Valley twice over. I think we might do one more New Year's tier list, not this stream, however. I think we may tier list the animes I've watched this year. At least I'm happily considering it. I haven't like fully decided. I need to look at what animes I've watched this year. What new animes I've watched this year. If I've watched something from previous years, no. But any of the newly released animes from this year, tier listing those. I'm considering doing that for a stream. Might be the next stream. But I also might put it off 1 week. Might do it like one in a week. Either way, I can tell you when the next stream will be, because I have not put out a schedule for this week because I've been very busy. I actually just got back from a short road trip between the last stream and this stream. 2 days from now. Not on New Year's Eve, but New Year's Day. On New Year's Day, we'll have a stream. I hope everyone has enjoyed today. And until next time. Oh, consider liking the stream. I need to say that more. I hope everyone has enjoyed today, and until next time, please do try and have a blast for me. Bye.